Rosa Martinez wiped the sweat from her forehead as the midday sun beat down on her small flower cart at the corner of 5th and Madison. For 15 years, she'd occupied the same spot in downtown Phoenix, selling bouquets to office workers and tourists passing through the bustling financial district. AT53, Rosa's hands were weathered from years of trimming stems and arranging petals, but her smile remained warm. She lived alone in a modest apartment 3 bus stops away, her husband having passed 5 years earlier, and her daughter working as a nurse in Seattle. The flower cart was her world now. It was a Tuesday afternoon when she first noticed the boy. He couldn't have been more than 10 years old, with shaggy brown hair and clothes that hung loosely on his thin frame. He sat cross-legged against the brick wall of the bank building, watching people hurry past without seeing him. His hollow eyes followed every pedestrian carrying a lunch bag or sipping coffee. Rosa's heart clenched. She recognized that look, the kind of hunger that goes beyond the physical. "Hey, mijo," she called softly, pulling out the turkey sandwich she'd packed for herself that morning. "You want this? I made too much." The boy's eyes widened with suspicion, then desperate hope. He shuffled over cautiously, grabbed the sandwich, and mumbled something that might have been "thank you" before retreating to his corner to devour it. That evening, Rosa went home and made 2 sandwiches for the next day. For 3 weeks, the pattern continued. Every afternoon around 1 o'clock, the boy, who eventually told her his name was Danny, would appear near her cart. Rosa would have food ready, sandwiches, fruit, sometimes leftover tamales from her weekend cooking. They didn't talk much at first. Danny would eat quickly, nod his thanks, and disappear into the city's maze of alleys and underpasses, but slowly, he began to linger. "Why do you sell flowers?" he asked one day, his voice raspy from disuse. Rosa smiled, arranging a bouquet of sunflowers. "Because everyone needs beauty in their lives, even when times are hard. Especially when times are hard." "They're just gonna die anyway," Danny muttered. "Everything dies eventually," Rosa said gently. "That doesn't make them worthless. Sometimes the most precious things are the ones that don't last forever." Danny frowned, processing this. Then, hesitantly, "Can I help?" Rosa's eyes softened. "You want to help me sell flowers?" He shrugged, trying to appear indifferent, but she could see the longing in his face, to be useful, to belong somewhere, even temporarily. "Okay," she said. "You can help me carry water for the buckets. And maybe sweep around the cart. I'll teach you how to wrap bouquets." The change in Danny was gradual, but unmistakable. He started showing up earlier each day, his hair a little neater, his posture a little straighter. He learned to arrange roses and carnations, to tie ribbons in elegant bows, to smile at customers even when they ignored him. Rosa asked carefully about his situation. Danny's story emerged in fragments. His mother had died 2 years ago, his father had vanished even before that. He'd bounced between foster homes and the streets, always running from places that felt like cages. He was smart, Rosa could tell from the way he calculated change faster than she could, but he'd stopped going to school months ago. "You need an education, Danny," Rosa told him firmly one afternoon. "Street smarts only get you so far. School's not for kids like me," he said bitterly. "Teachers don't care. Other kids just make fun of my clothes. Then we'll get you different clothes. And I'll talk to the principal I can't stay anywhere." Danny's voice cracked. "Every time I try, something goes wrong. It's better this way." Rosa wanted to argue, to fix everything, but she knew better than to push. Trust took time. So she kept showing up, kept feeding him, kept teaching him about flowers and life and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, the world could be kind. Not everyone approved. Marcus Webb, the bank manager, whose building Danny used to lean against, had complained to the police twice about loiterers affecting his business. Officer Patricia Chen had stopped by Rosa's cart several times, eyeing Danny with professional suspicion. "You running some kind of unlicensed child care operation here, Mrs. Martinez?" Officer Chen asked one afternoon, her tone sharp. "I'm feeding a hungry child," Rosa replied evenly. "That's not illegal. He should be in school. Or with social services. I'm working on that. Give us time." Officer Chen's expression remained skeptical, but she left them alone, for then, the real trouble came from Victor Brennan, a city councilman who'd made cleaning up downtown his personal crusade. He'd been pushing to remove all street vendors from the financial district, claiming they created congestion and lowered property values. When he spotted Danny helping Rosa one morning, his eyes gleamed with opportunity. "That woman," he told his assistant, "is exploiting child labor. Get me photos. Contact social services. We'll use this to shut down all these sidewalk operations." The inspection came without warning. 2 social workers and a police officer arrived at Rosa's cart on a Friday afternoon. Danny, sensing danger with the instinct of someone who'd spent too much time surviving, bolted before they could stop him. "Mrs. Martinez, we've received complaints about an unaccompanied minor working at this location," the lead social worker said, clipboard in hand. Rosa's stomach dropped. He's not working. He's just keeping me company. I feed him because he's hungry. Do you have legal guardianship? No, but then you're in violation of several statutes regarding minors. We'll need to investigate this fully. If the boy returns, you're required to notify us immediately. They handed her official-looking documents and left. Rosa stood there, hands trembling, as her carefully built world crumbled. She'd been trying to help, and now she might have made everything worse. Danny didn't come back that day. Or the next. Or the next. Rosa searched the alleys where she knew homeless kids congregated. She asked other vendors, shop owners, anyone who might have seen a scrawny 10-year-old with sad eyes. Nothing. A week passed. Then too. Rosa continued selling flowers, but the joy had drained from it. Every young face in the crowd made her heart leap with hope, then sink with disappointment. She blamed herself. She should have been more careful, more discreet. She should have navigated the bureaucracy better, gotten proper documentation, protected him from the system that was supposed to protect children. On the 18th day of Danny's disappearance, something extraordinary happened. Rosa was closing up her cart at 6 o'clock when she heard it, the thunderous womp-womp-womp of helicopter rotors. She looked up, squinting against the setting sun, and saw not one, but two sleek black helicopters descending toward the street. Traffic stopped. Pedestrians scrambled to the sidewalks. The helicopters landed in the middle of the intersection, and from the first one emerged a tall woman in an expensive grey suit, followed by security personnel. Rosa stood frozen, her heart pounding. Had she done something terribly wrong? Was she being arrested? The woman walked directly toward her cart, and as she got closer, Rosa recognized her from news broadcasts. Elizabeth Chen, CEO of Chen Pharmaceuticals, one of the wealthiest women in America, and a major philanthropist. Mrs. Martinez. Elizabeth Chen extended her hand. I've been looking for you. Rosa shook her hand numbly. What? Why? From the second helicopter, a small figure emerged. Danny. He was clean, wearing new clothes, but his expression was anxious as he ran toward Rosa. I'm sorry. Danny burst out. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just told her about you, and she wanted to meet you, and slow down, mijo, Rosa said, pulling him into a hug. Are you okay? Where have you been? Elizabeth Chen smiled. Perhaps I should explain. Danny is my nephew. Rosa's head spun. Your nephew? My younger brother struggled with addiction for years, Elizabeth said quietly. After his wife died, he lost custody of Danny. The boy ran away from foster care, and despite all my resources, I couldn't find him. He's been surviving on the streets for almost 2 years. Her voice cracked. I've had private investigators, police cooperation, social workers searching constantly. I never stopped looking. Danny ducked his head. I didn't want to be found. Not by her. Rich people don't care about kids like me. They just want to lock us up in fancy prisons and feel good about themselves. Danny, Elizabeth said gently. I understand why you felt that way. But I'm your family. Your mother was my sister-in-law, and I loved her. I failed you once by not fighting harder when you were placed in foster care. I won't fail you again. She turned to Rosa. One of my security team spotted Danny last week near your cart. We observed from a distance, trying to assess the situation before approaching. And what I saw. She paused, emotion flickering across her composed face. I saw you treating my nephew with more dignity and care than any of the professionals I'd hired. You fed him. Taught him. Gave him purpose. Rosa felt tears welling up. I just did what anyone should do. But most people don't, Elizabeth said firmly. And when I learned that you were being investigated by social services, possibly facing charges for your kindness, I knew I had to intervene. She pulled out an envelope from her suit pocket. First, I've had my lawyers handle the investigation. All complaints have been withdrawn. You won't face any legal consequences. Rosa exhaled in relief. Second, Elizabeth continued, I want to thank you properly. I'm prepared to offer you a substantial reward. I don't want money, Rosa interrupted. I didn't help Danny for a reward. Elizabeth smiled. I suspected you'd say that. So I've made alternative arrangements. I'm establishing a foundation, the Rosa Martinez Foundation for Street Youth. It will provide resources, food, education, and dignity to homeless children throughout the city. You'll be on the board of directors, with a generous salary, though the foundation will be managed by professional staff. Your flower business will continue, if you wish, as a training ground where young people can learn skills and rebuild their lives. Rosa's hand flew to her mouth. I don't know what to say. Say you'll let me help you help others, Elizabeth said. Say you'll accept Danny into your life as a friend and mentor, because he clearly needs you. Danny looked up at Rosa with desperate hope. I'm gonna live with Aunt Elizabeth now. She's got a house with a yard and everything. But, could I still visit you? Could I still help with the flowers sometimes? Rosa pulled him close again, tears streaming down her face. Mijo, you can visit me every single day if you want. The story of the flower vendor, who fed a homeless boy, spread across the news. Some people praised Rosa's compassion, others debated the complexities of helping street children without going through official channels. Victor Brennan, the councilman who tried to shut her down, issued a statement supporting proper protocols for child welfare, but his upcoming election campaign suffered as voters saw through the political posturing. Rosa's flower cart became something more than a business. Young people who'd fallen through society's cracks began showing up, hesitantly at first, drawn by rumors of a woman who saw them as human beings rather than problems to be managed. Rosa fed them, listened to them, and connected them with the foundation's resources. Danny thrived in his aunt's care. He returned to school, underwent therapy to process his trauma, and slowly learned that not everyone with money wanted to control him. But every Saturday, he showed up at Rosa's cart to help arrange flowers and talk about his week. You saved my life, he told her one morning while tying ribbons on a bouquet of lilies. No, Mijo, Rosa said softly. You reminded me why life is worth living. We saved each other. 6 months later, at the foundation's inaugural gala, Elizabeth Chen raised her glass for a toast. This foundation exists because one woman chose compassion over convenience, connection over indifference. Because Rosa Martinez looked at a hungry child and saw possibility instead of a problem. She proved that the smallest acts of kindness can change the world, not through dramatic gestures, but through showing up every day with food, patience, and love. Rosa, uncomfortable in the fancy dress Elizabeth had insisted she wear, smiled and thought about the boy who'd once sat against a brick wall, invisible to everyone. Now he stood beside his aunt, healthy and hopeful, dreaming about becoming a social worker someday. Sometimes, she thought, the most precious things are the ones that don't last forever. A flower, a moment, the chance encounter. But their impact ripples outward in ways we can never fully measure. All it takes is noticing. Caring. Showing up, the rest, somehow, finds a way to follow.